right, welcome back everybody. Here we go. It's a mock draft number 2. I'm excited. I'm nervous actually. I haven't done one of these since the Super Bowl. Lots changed, free agency, the draft, the schedule came out. So I thought I'd quickly jump in. Well, quickly, we know it won't be a quick video. Do a video here of a mock draft, just the first 2 rounds. The next one's the 3rd mock draft, so maybe it'll be a 3-rounder, we'll see. So I'll go through who's been kept twice, what draft picks were traded away, so that means people can't keep players in those rounds. Then I'll quickly go through the keepers, I always say quickly, and then I'll get into the draft. Just a heads up here, I will try not to do this for every video, so I'll just try and maybe just flash that information on your screen as I do the intro, just as a reminder of who's been kept twice or all that kind of stuff, just so I'm not wasting, 3 or 4 minutes every video here during the summer going through the same old thing. The ranking this time is from Fantasy Pro, so it's their cumulative ranking that you'll see on your screen there for everything so far. It is based on our league rules, so it is kind of the players based on our point system and everything. So keep that in mind as you watch the video. I will use the sleeper platform because it nicely lets me manually put the players in so that we can see the draft unfold. So as you can see, I believe I'll be posting pictures there showing that I've already got all the players put in there already. So it's a quick little sneak peek maybe of who's been kept, but maybe you'll forget by then. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's go through who's been kept twice already and cannot be kept this year. So it's a good list of players, which I really think opens up our draft this year, which it hasn't in a long time. These players have been kept in higher rounds, so it'll be nice for them to be back in the pool and probably not keepers going forward based on maybe being potential 1st, 2nd round players. So first off, I cannot keep Jamar Chase. I've kept him twice. Jay and Adam, the buddies there, I've kept Devon Achane and Kyron Williams twice, so they're both back in the pool. Sunil had Terry McLaurin, which has been kept twice, so he can't be kept by Sunil. Garrett Wilson is back in the pool there. Ty has kept him twice. And I had kept him before that, so it was he's been a long time. Rob with Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's back in the pool now. Tom's had CeeDee Lamb the last 2 years. Dallas drafted these guys in these rounds, but he had Nico Collins and Puka Nacua, who were late round keepers, so they're now back into the pool. And then Richard had Trey McBride, who was also a really late round keeper, who's back in the pool there. So that's some great players. Most of them you might see in the draft today. So that says a lot about how that's going to change our draft from last year to this year. So I'm really excited by that. The trades that happened last year between Richard and myself and Richard and Tom. Tom had traded away his 3rd round pick, so he cannot keep Devonta Smith. Sorry, it's just above something here. And then Richard was trading away his 5th and his 7th round pick. He cannot keep Chris Olave, Brian Thomas Jr., or Joe Burrow. And then myself with trading away my 3rd round pick to Richard, I cannot keep James Cook III. So there are a couple players in there who could have been kept, I think. Maybe Devonta, now that he might be the #1 receiver in Philadelphia. James Cook's a tough one. I wish I could have kept him the 3rd. But hey, I went for it, took a chance, lost first week in the playoffs, and there you go. And then for Tom, I mean, he won, right? He won it all. So not keeping Devonta Smith is a really bad thing. Not really, right? So he already won. All right, so that's that part done. And I guess now you want to know who everybody's keepers are. All right, so I'll put it on your screen there and I'll try and go through it quickly so that we're not spending too much time and we can get started on the fun part, which is the draft. All right, so for Dave, we have George Pickens and Luther Burden. I like the value of both those guys, so I thought those were good ones there. Jen, I have Breece Hall and Rashee Rice. I think Breece Hall is going to be a great 3rd round keep, and Rashee Rice, well, I'd already made all the slides before all his troubles this past week, so I'm just leaving it there for now. Let's hope nothing becomes of it. Jen could draft or keep him here in the 4th, and it's no big deal. Richard, Jameson Williams, and Bashal Tootin. I just think now that Tootin might be the lead guy in Jacksonville, 11th round could be a good spot. Who knows come August what happens. Maybe he's not a keeper material at all, but we'll see. For Wayne, as usual, he doesn't usually keep somebody, so this year I'm just going to naturally just not keep anybody there, just so it makes all the players available and we can see how it plays out. The buddies, I kind of went back and forth on this one, but for at least this draft, I'm going to do Tedero McMillan and Caleb Williams. I think Williams could be a really good keep as a 15th round quarterback. Now in mock drafts, he's the, like 5 to 7 rounds, or the 5th to 7th round kind of area. So I really think that could be a little bit of a game changer there for the buddies. Ty, Malik Neighbors, and Harold Fannin. Ty had a couple tight ends maybe he could keep. But based on the value, I went with Fannin Jr. and Neighbors. He may not keep. I don't know, come this injury. We'll see how it plays out again come the summertime. But for now, I am leaving him in there. If by July we're hearing maybe he's not coming back till mid-September or early October, then maybe I won't. But then again, maybe I will, given how good of a receiver he can be. Dallas, Cortland Sutton, Alec Pierce. Again, I haven't changed this with Waddle going to Denver. I just wanted to kind of leave the 2 receivers here. Maybe I'll change it up, but Hampton in there, I don't really know, but we'll see. We'll see for now. Rob, I left with Javonte and Quinshawn, Sunil, Travion Henderson, and Travis Etienne. Now that Etienne's the lead back possibly in New Orleans, sounds like Kamara might be out the door, so I figured a 7th round keep is a good spot there. Jeremy, Njigba, and Bowers I liked. I forget who else he had I liked, but I thought Bowers and Njigba were the better 2. Myself, as you see, I dropped myself down to the 11th round spot. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm going to draft from, just so I can get the quick pick in the 2nd, and then without having a 3rd round pick, having that quick pick in the 4th instead of waiting to the end of 4. I think even if I had a top 3 pick, waiting to the end of 2 and then waiting to the end of 4, right? And then, yeah, I'd have 2 quick picks in 5, but I don't know. I like this better. I've kind of been playing around with it on mock drafts on Yahoo, and this is kind of where I'm going to end up. So for myself, as you see there, I put Ibuka and Scatabo. I think Ibuka's value with keepers as a 5th round is pretty good, and Scatabo as a 9th. I think it's going to be excellent value. He's probably a round 3 or 4 running back anyway, so having him in the 9th would be huge. Tom, I'm going with Zay Flowers and Tyler Warren. Like I said, I probably would have kept Devonta Smith for him if he had a 3rd round pick, but he doesn't. So I went with Zay Flowers in 4 and Tyler Warren there in 7. So after 8 long minutes, let's finally get to the fun stuff here. That's why I said that I'm going to try and cut this down. The keepers I'll go through each time. There, sorry, but yeah, we'll quicken this up here for everybody. So I'm not too upset if you zoom through that pretty quick. All right. So again, on your screen, you will see Fantasy Pros ranking, and then you will see me have the player in the draft spot on the Sleeper app. On my side, I'm basically cutting and pasting names in a Yahoo Excel spreadsheet. So that it's easy for me to always keep this up and going and easy to do. So with all that said, it's time to mock draft. Okay, so Dave's up first, and for Dave, I had kept George Pickens in 4 and Luther Burden in 13. Pickens is probably a top 10 receiver. Luther Burden's could be top 15 if everybody projects him the way they think he's going to go this year. So that's a really good start. So I could see him go Puka or Chase here, and then he'd have amazing receivers, and then that's kind of the 0 RB strategy for him. That would mean the 2nd and 3rd round, he's probably looking at guys like maybe Jacobs, Henry, Kyron, Bucky, Montgomery, Swift, Jalen Warren kind of area, somewhere in that whole long list, depending on how the draft goes. Is that kind of like what he's looking for when it comes to the 2-3 turn? Or does he look at guys like Bijan and Gibbs and go, hey, I could have 2 of the best running backs in football along with 2 top 15 receivers. And knowing Dave, I think that's the way he's going to go. So I think Dave is going to take the guy on the better team with the better offense. And I'm going to give Dave Jahmyr Gibbs. So our first player drafted this year is Jahmyr Gibbs to Dave. Next up, we have Jen. Jen's in a really good spot here. She has, in my mind, Breece Hall and Rashee Rice. Again, Rice could be a top 12 receiver. I think Hall could be a top 12 running back, maybe top 15. So does she go Bijan, get possibly a top 3 running back, go Puka or Chase and get a possible top 3 receiver? Either way, I don't think is wrong. But I think given her spot and what could be there when she comes back, I think she is going to go top 3 receiver and take Ja'Marr Chase. Cool. It's not what I would have thought going into this draft pick, but that's what I'm going to do for Jen. Which means we're on to Richard. So again, Richard has Jameson Williams, which is probably top 15 to 20 receiver, and Bashal Tutin's probably right around a top 12, maybe top 15, low end kind of running back. So I think he's just slightly a little worse position than Jen in terms of who they're keeping. But with that said, he still would have a chance to take Bijan and Puka. I think given last year how his team went with not having a strong running back core, and the fact that Williams is on a good team and the league is a passing league in rounds 2 and 3 and then he's got 3 picks in 3, he could really fill out that receiving core in the 3rd round, or even fill it out with some of those 2nd-tier running backs. Maybe, but I think he's going to go running backs here and take Bijan Robinson. I felt like I contradicted myself a little bit there, but in the end, I think this is the way he's going to go, just based on my feeling right now. Which means we're at Wayne. Wayne has kept nobody because unfortunately Wayne doesn't keep anybody year to year. Nothing against him for not doing it. If that's his strategy, great. Or if it's just something he forgets to do, that's okay too. So for Wayne, not keeping anybody, seeing on the board, you have Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, the running back room, and then in the receivers, we have Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. So given that, I mean, to me, it's a pretty easy choice. I would take Puka Nacua. You're not worrying about Christian McCaffrey getting hurt. You solidify probably the last top 3 receiver. I mean, Amon-Ra's always got a chance to get in there, but I think Puka is the next best player there, and a little bit of a teardrop to Amon-Ra. So, okay. Top 4 there. Okay, moving on to the 5th pick, which is the Buddies. Sorry, I'm out of practice. The 5th pick, which belongs to the Buddies, Jay and Adam. As you remember, or may not remember, they kept Tedero McMillan and Caleb Williams. I still think they could go either way. A couple keepers in the 2nd round, so it's not as far to their next pick. So that kind of leaves them the opportunity to just take the best player that they like. I think, though, given that they don't have a running back and seeing that one of the best receivers in football until his quarterback, or best running backs in football until his quarterback got hurt, is still on the board, I'm going to give him Jonathan Taylor. Again, like I said, he was one of the best running backs in football. Then Daniel Jones got hurt. The team struggled, which means he struggled. He's putting up 2-3 touchdowns a game, every game it seemed. So I'm going to give him Jonathan Taylor. Okay, next up we have Ty. Ty kept Neighbors in the 2nd and Harold Fannin in 16. With having a keeper in the 2nd, I am going to give him a running back here. I think it's a little bit safer play. That would mean it would be a true 0 RB kind of strategy, as he wouldn't get anybody until the 3rd. I mean, there might be some decent guys, but I don't know if he would want to do that. But we'll see. For a receiver, though, I mean, you would have Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Drake London. So it's all really good top tier players. And if I'm going to give him a running back, I don't know if I'm going to give him Christian McCaffrey. Just because I think he would worry about the injuries from not being injured last year. And then, does he go to Achane? Like, I like Achane, the individual player. I just don't trust the Dolphins. So I struggle with giving him to anybody. But I mean, this is where he's going in mock drafts. Or do I give him Amon-Ra? You know what? I'm going to stick with the running back comment, and I'm going to give him Achane. I just think with having Neighbors next round, hopefully he returns to top, 8 kind of receiver category. Achane should be a top 8 running back by the end of the year, I would say. And then Fannon's probably a top 3, 4 kind of tight end. So I think that's a really good start. And then it kind of sets him up decently coming back in the 3rd round for his next pick. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, next up we have Dallas. Dallas, as we said, is keeping, for right now, Cortland Sutton in the 4th and Alex Pierce in the 16th. I might change this up, but the only other guy I was thinking was Hampton. I mean, him and I talked about it a little bit yesterday at soccer, the girls' soccer, not our soccer. And I just don't know. He's a 2nd round pick, I believe. So it just seems really early to keep a running back. Yeah, I don't know, especially when you're picking the middle. I could see maybe if you're end of 2, but middle of 2 is tough. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to leave it like that for now, which means he has, like I said, 2 receivers, with no running backs, no tight end. Again, he's got McCaffrey, James Cook, Ashton Genty, Chase Brown for running backs. Receivers, you're looking at Amon-Ra, CD, Justin Jefferson, Drake London, Nico Collins is kind of the big tiers of receivers we got there. I don't think he likes McCaffrey enough to draft him there. I think he likes James Cook, but I don't know if he wants to take him this early. I mean, if he was there in 2nd, obviously, but I don't know. But maybe. But look at that receiving core. But he's already got 2 receivers in this draft scenario. Both of them are probably wide receiver 2s, though, either way. So does he just go Amon-Ra, who's a top 5, and just go 0 RB and see who comes around? Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. So I'm going to go and give him Amon-Ra St. Brown. Rob was probably thinking, oh, maybe I can get him again. No, not going to happen. Amon-Ra going to Dallas. Okay, next up we have Rob. And Rob, like I said, Javonte and Judkins. So he's got 2 really good running backs. Probably both of them are going to be top 12. They are late, so he's got good options here. Again, McCaffrey, Cook, Genty, and then we got CD, Jefferson, London, Collins. I kind of say, to me, is the end of that tier break. Does he go to Cowboys? I don't know. That's a bit of a risky move. Does he just load up on running backs and just go, what the heck? I think that's what he's going to do, just because he's got the next pick and a few. There's a keeper in there. Right? So why not just take the chance, right? And the keeper is for his next pick. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to take a running back. And I'm going to give him James Cook. I think he's going to look at Buffalo, all those TDs, all that stuff. He's not going to take the injury risk with McCaffrey because I think Judkins might start the season a little late. He might slow start anyway with a little bit of his injury from last year. So I think him staying away from McCaffrey might be a smart move. Give him James Cook, who was solid for me last year. And now he can just go heavy receiver. I think this is a smart play for him. Okay, next up we have Sunil. Sunil, as they said, kept Travion and Travis Etienne Jr., or I think he's going by HN or HN Jr., not really sure. So, again, does he just lock up his running back team and go heavy receiver afterwards? Because I think at this point it's hard to pass up on McCaffrey. CD and Jefferson are there. Jefferson obviously has the concerns of whether it's going to be Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy, which is probably going to be Kyler to start the year at least. Trey McBride's still floating around. He's got 2 good running backs. They're probably both at least top 15 at minimum. I don't see him passing up CeeDee Lamb. Take the safer stud receiver, who's probably top 5 or 6. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go. And just continue the fall of Christian McCaffrey. All right, which means we're at Jeremy. So Jeremy has, or I have him keeping JSN in the 2nd round, along with Brock Bowers in the 9th. So probably the best tight end in football, probably points-wise. Top 1 to 3 receiver again this year. I mean, why not? Jefferson has his risk. Drake London has risk. Nico Collins, I mean, he's good. He's been injured. Stroud gonna grow. Does he add Genty to go along with Bowers on a Raiders? Like having more than one Raiders, is that something you want to do with Cousins to start the year at least? I think this is where McCaffrey goes. I think this is a good spot for Jeremy to throw him in there and see what happens. So I'm giving Christian McCaffrey to Jeremy. Okay. To me, I got a few players I'm looking at. With keeping Ibuka and Scatterbo. Again, I have 1 receiver, 1 running back. I could go either direction. They are a little bit later keeps. I mean, Ibuka's a 5th, but I like anything kind of after the 4th round in my mind. Scatterbo, again, might be a slow start depending on his injury. He's saying he's ready to go. So we'll see. So here's the players I'm realistically looking at. I got 4 players to pick from that I'm looking at, and I'm going to get 2 of them. So I have 1 of each. And who do I want to go with? Who do I want to risk Tom taking? Tom's got a tight end and a receiver, so he's probably looking at least 1 running back, right? So I know what receivers I want coming around the corner if this was the layout, and I know who I don't want. So the chance of him taking 2 still leaves me with a guy I like, so I'm not worried about that. However, if I don't go running back and he takes 2 guys, I would be very upset if I didn't get 1 of them, right? So I think based on all that thinking, if this is how the board played out, I'm going to go Chase Brown. Burrow came back. He was one of the better running backs in football. He looked really good out there. So we'll see. I mean, I could take Genty. I'm just not sold on the Raiders. I think this is about where he should be going, so it's fine. Like I said, with the receivers that I mentioned, I'm happy with pretty much getting 1 or 2 of them, or 1 of the 2 or 3 of them. So we'll see. So Tom. So this is where I'm gonna give Tom Ashton Genty. It's an easy one off the board right away. I think that's gonna be how he'll go there for sure. And the reason why I figured that is strictly just based on he gets to take a receiver here next. I would say Flowers. Zay Flowers, well, I think is between a top 10 to 15 receiver. I think Tom has a chance here to get 1 of 3 guys who could be a top 8, right? So get that top 10 running back and get another top receiver to add to his pile. Now, what does Tom do? Does Tom go Justin Jefferson? Does he go Drake London? Does he go Nico Collins? I think Jefferson and London are a slight tier above Nico, probably 20 points at the end of the year. So you're talking a point a game at most. So it's not that big of a tier. I do think, based on Kyler being there, he's going to go Justin Jefferson. I think if JJ was the starting quarterback to start the year, he might stay away and go London. But I think with Kyler there, he is going to go Justin Jefferson. Okay. All right. I'm going to do a quick recap of round 1 plus Tom's pick, just so we can kind of remember who's everybody's picking as we go through these last, I guess there's about 9 left with keepers in there. So we started the round with Dave taking Jahmyr Gibbs, Jen going Jamar Chase, Richard going Bijan Robinson, Wayne taking Puka Nacua, the buddies taking Jonathan Taylor, Ty taking Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rob going James Cook, Sunil going CeeDee Lamb, Jeremy taking Christian McCaffrey, myself taking Chase Brown, and Tom taking Ashton Genty. Okay, then we start off the second round. As I said, Tom took Justin Jefferson. So it's back to my pick. And now remember, I do not have a third round pick. That now belongs to Richard. And then I wouldn't have a pick until the second pick of the 4th round. So that is a long ways away here. So I don't think I'm going to go tight end. While I like Ibuka as a receiver, I don't necessarily would want him as my top receiver and then having to wait that long. McBride is good. I just don't like that strategy for me. There's a bunch of tight ends there in that middle pack that I kind of like, so I'm going to probably do that strategy instead. However, now coming back to the list, I figured Drake London was going to be the guy I was going to end up with. If I would have gone 2 receivers to Tom, I would have been ending up with Nico Collins, which I think he's pretty much the same as Ibuka, so having Scatterbo, Chase Brown, Ibuka, and Collins would be fine. But I think being able to take Drake London here is a risky play, but I do think it is the play I'm going to do. So I'm going to draft Drake London. Sorry, I was already looking at Jeremy's pick there of Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I looked at the J and Jake instead of Drake. Anyway. So as I said, next pick belongs to Jeremy, and it is his keeper pick of JSN. So we'll move right along to Sunil. So Sunil has CeeDee Lamb in the 1st, and then has Travion and Travis Etienne Jr. in the 7th round. So I think he's got an opportunity here again. He can go any direction. He can go running back, receiver, tight end. I think there's a little bit of a drop here to Barkley, Hampton, and Walker for running back. I think this next group of receivers is all kind of the same with Nico Collins, Chris Olave, A.J. Brown, who I'm thinking is a Patriot, but we'll see, and Garrett Wilson. And even if you throw in T. Higgins, Devontae Smith in there, I think they're all kind of a similar tier. And then he's got, a little bit long wait as being at the 3rd. I think he's going to take Trey McBride. I don't know why. I just, a feeling came over me. And that's what I'm going to do before I change my mind. So I'm going to give him Trey McBride. So Trey McBride goes to Sunil to add with CeeDee Lamb, Travion Henderson, and Travis Etienne Jr. Gives him top tiered tight end, top tiered receiver, and 2 probably top 15 running backs. So that's a pretty good start in your first 2 rounds to come out with your keepers. Okay, next we have Rob. Rob has James Cook III, along with Javonte Williams and Quinshon Judkins. To me, I think he, at this point, is stacked pretty well. He's got a solid running back core, and any one of these guys as a top receiver, I think it would be a great number receiver on a team, giving all those guys as your running back. So I'm going to give him the guy I like the most, and I'm going to give him Nico Collins. Okay. Next up, we have Dallas. Okay, Dallas. Kind of funny. The guy who I thought he might keep, or we talked about him keeping, fell to him in the second round. As a result, it's going to be an easy decision for me, and I'm going to give him a Marion Hampton. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going to throw it in there for him, so that gives him a Marion Hampton, Amon-Ra St. Brown, to add along with Cortland Sutton and Alec Pierce. Coming around the corner again, he's probably got a good shot at pretty decent running back, or if he wants to throw in a tight end or receiver and kind of go and try to think maybe O'Marion Hampton as a hero RB strategy, it could work. I kind of like it. So we'll see how it works out for him. Next up would normally be Ty's pick, but he is keeping Malik Neighbors. Then after that, we have the buddies Jay and Adam, who have Tedro McMillan, Caleb Williams, and Jonathan Taylor was their pick in the first round. Personally, at this point, I think there's two really good running backs that he could get. And then coming back around the other way, he would still have a good chance at a pretty good receiver. Unless he likes those middle running backs. Because I think for him, he could go Barkley, Walker, or Love. I think those would be the three good running backs he could go. If he did that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 picks coming back. I mean, you could still look at maybe Jacobs, Henry, Kyron Williams, or potentially Ladd McConkey, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin kind of way coming around the corner. I think the running backs are more of a similar group. I think they're all similar groups, to be honest. I think they're all within 20 points either way at the end of the year, maybe 30 at the most. We're talking a point a game or two, which nobody wants to lose by a point or two. But I think I'm going to give him the new hotness. I'm going to give him Jeremiah Love. I think he's going to take the chance. Stack up his running back core while he's got a chance. Give him a rookie that maybe, depending on how Love turns out, he could maybe keep in the second round next year if he wants to. Okay, next up we have Wayne. Wayne has Puka Nacua, and as always, we gave him no keepers. I think here I'm going to give him a running back. I think looking at the pile, he's going to think, oh, I could get a pretty solid receiver coming around in the third round. So I think for him, he's going to stay away from Barkley just because Philadelphia seems to be a bit of a decline. So I'm going to give him Kenneth Walker the third. Okay. All right, Richard. Richard has, for keepers, Jameson Williams and Bajal Tootin, along with drafting Bijan Robinson in the first round. So to me, he's pretty stacked at running back, and having his pick in, will be 5 more picks after this one, plus 2 at the end of 3. I think he'll probably go running back again here, and then he can just take 3 receivers next round. I kind of think based on who's left. No. Jen would probably take one. I think Dave take 1 or 2 running backs? Sorry, I had a brain cramp here. So I don't think either Jen or Dave are taking more than 1 running back. So if Richard likes, say, 3 guys here, which in my mind would be Barkley, Jacobs, Henry, would be the 3 main guys left. So Jen would have Bijan and Breece Hall, so she's probably going 2 receivers. Dave would have Gibbs as his only running back, so he's at least taking 1. So I think Richard's play here would be to take his favorite receiver off the board and then see what running back falls him in third. And then at the end of 3, he can take whatever he wants, right? So based on that logic, I'm giving him a receiver. And again, I am playing this strictly on the thought that A.J. Brown is being traded to the Patriots, because that's what everybody keeps talking about on every podcast I listen to. So with Drake May there, I'm going to give Richard A.J. Brown from the Patriots. All right. So Jen, as I said, Jen has Breece Hall, Rashee Rice, and Jamar Chase. Did I say she? Yeah, either way. I still think no more than 2 running backs. Anyway, so back to Jen. Okay, so she's got Rashee Rice and Chase, so she's stacked at receiver. If she was going to take one, I would probably give her Garrett Wilson. I'd probably give her Chris Olave with a younger quarterback. It'd probably be the smarter move. Unless she likes kind of Devonta Smith in Philly as the number 1 guy. Yeah, because you don't want 2 Jets. 2 Jets is kind of risky. Because I don't necessarily know if having Barkley and Hall is smart. But maybe she'll go Jacobs. But maybe she thinks Dave won't take Jacobs. I'm just going to give her Chris Olave. I don't know why. I don't think she would take Saquon. I don't know if Dave would take Jacobs. He might take Henry. I think she might think of that. Hopefully get Jacobs on the 3rd round turn, which you guys won't see. And then go from there. Okay. So we're on our last pick here. We got a couple minutes to go here. I'm going to try and wrap this up under 40 minutes. Dave has Pickens and Burden along with Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's got 2 picks here. I think he's probably going to take a receiver in the 3rd round. There's no real young running back here to kind of try to take, or, you know, as a keeper in the 3rd. There's not really any big star there. So I think Dave is going to take I'm going to give him I'm going to give him the receiver in the 3rd round is kind of what I think he'll do. So I'm going to give him the running back in the 2nd round, and I'm going to give him Saquon Barkley. I think that nicely cleans up some of that. Gives him a number 1 running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. Gives him solid receivers, which he'll get another one right away. And then Saquon's a little bit of a wild card, but I think at this point he's too good to let him drop any further. But he is still, in my mind, a really risky pick, which is why I let him drop as far as I did. There. All right. So we'll do a quick recap here of round 2. You'll see both rounds on your screen. So it's we run through it here. We got Tom with Justin Jefferson. I took Drake London. Jeremy kept JSN. Sunil took Trey McBride. Rob went Nico Collins. Dallas got Omarion Hampton. Ty kept Malik Neighbors. The buddies Jaden Adams went Jeremiah Love. Wayne went Kenneth Walker III. Richard went AJ Brown of the Patriots. Jen's going Chris Olave, and Dave is taking Saquon Barkley. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. If you stayed all the way to the end, thank you very much. I did keep this under 40 minutes. I am very happy. I'll try to get it down to 30 when we clear up some of the intro stuff. But enjoy your weekend, whatever it is. Have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.